Sleep is so important for us to restore and renew on a cellular level. It's an opportunity for our body to process the day it's had, to regenerate, to be ready for the day it's going to have when we wake up in the following morning. If we don't get that, we wake up in a deficit.
Welcome to the Embodied Woman podcast with me, Rebecca Wilson. An embodied experiential space for you to drop deep into the wealth of wisdom within your being and activate a fuller, richer you. I am a feminine awakener, thought leader, embodied business doula, sacred business midwife, healer, and all-round medicine woman. I am here to guide women deeper into their essence and power, to activate their life force, awaken pleasure, and support them to live an embodied life. I will help you birth your visions, dreams, creations, desires, and sacred business into the world from an easeful, embodied, and rooted place within. My work supports women to become more available for life, love, relationship, connection, creation, pleasure, and wealth. I will activate you into self-leadership and self-mastery to truly live an embodied and awakened life. Welcome on the journey, my love.
Hello, my love. Welcome back to the podcast. If you are new here, welcome. And if you've been here for a while, welcome. I just wanted to start off this episode by just sharing a deep thanks for sharing these moments of your time and your life with me in this way. But deeper than that, I want to extend a thank you to allowing yourself to carve out this time to receive the wisdom of my teachings and the messages that I share for you in a way that hopefully by being here and listening in, things begin to shift and move and open and awaken in your inner world that create a cascade of thoughts and curiosities that open you to new possibilities and new ways of living and being in your life and in your body in connection to yourself. It takes a lot of courage for us to truly step on this path of inquiry within, but it is so unbelievably beneficial to us and the lives in which we desire to create. I know the world is full and very fast-paced at these times, so carving this time out for yourself to receive is a huge blessing, and I deeply honor you and I'm grateful for that. So thank you. So today's episode, we are talking about stress and how it impacts feminine energy and our cycles. This is something that is often deeply personal for many women, but also essential for us to open conversations about. There is an intricate and delicate connection between stress and your menstrual cycle. Within our biology, there is a delicate dance of hormones. Stress that we experience in life isn't only the mental and emotional burden that we often feel in modern world and these modern times, but it also is a force that moves through the body, disrupting the delicate harmonious balance of hormones that guide our monthly cycle and also pave the way for the seasons and cycles beyond our bleeding years. At the core of a woman's biology is the intricate play of the hormones, estrogen and progesterone, primarily. There's much more going on, but here, let me be in the simplicity. So these hormones create monthly cycle within, from the development of the egg to the shedding of the uterine lining or the conception of life, should that be the wish and the desire. Disturbances to this delicate hormonal dance within can have huge alterations within our cyclical cycles and expressions and hormones, altering the consistency, the intensity, the frequency, the availability to bleed and or to ovulate, and so much more. Stress plays a huge role in impacting women's health and their energy and essence. When we are in times of stress, our body releases a cascade of other hormones to try to support us as best it can. Our bodies are always seeking to find their way back to some kind of balance or homeostasis. It is the deepest desire and wish of the body. So within that, the body can release stress hormones such as cortisol, and that is the body trying to send us messages and signals that we are in a acute or long-standing or imminent experience of stress. When cortisol rises, it is essential to send these signals from our body that we are in a fight or flight response. But this is best served in short bursts. When we are under chronic stress, which is a modern day epidemic, it can lead to persistently elevated levels of cortisol, which cause havoc and chaos on our cyclical expression and our reproductive system. The body needs to prioritize its energy. So if or when, rather, because it is a when, we are under stress or we're feeling stressed out or in a stressful experience in life, our body has a certain amount of energy and it needs to prioritize what to do with that. Stress is a huge depletion on our life force and our vital energy. So already we find ourselves in a deficit. So the remaining energy must be used wisely. And it is often used to get us out of this perceived state of threat as the body and the nervous system has gone into a state of survival, in a dysregulation of fight, flight, freeze, fawn. A huge amount of life force and energy is used here in these states. When we get stuck in that place, or we are experiencing stress on a daily basis, whether that is because we are moving through a very challenging season in life, or we are under the throes of modern day living and trying to balance it all, it impacts us and pulls from the reservoirs of energy that we have in our body. Here we can often see experiences that manifest in women that impact them greatly, such as irregular period, painful cramps at bleeding, which are intensified by stress-induced cortisol, alterations in blood flow, some women experiencing heavier bleeding while others experiencing much lighter. In severe cases, stress can lead to the absence of menstruation too, and also the absence of ovulation. Stress disrupts our menstrual cycles by triggering more stress, particularly when we begin to worry about the experiences that are manifesting. Here, often we can find ourselves in a perpetual state of worry and stress. We become looped into the stress cycle. It's a really important thing to note here that often women only become concerned with having healthy cycles or ovulating when they are either becoming aware of how important that is and or they are in their childbearing years and feel a desire to one day potentially conceive a life. However, it is vital for us that we ovulate and we have a healthy hormonal dance and rhythm within, no matter what our desire or wish to create life and birth or not, because this is a vital sign of health and vitality in a woman's body. It takes an incredible amount of energy to have a cycle. It takes an incredible amount of energy to ovulate. It takes an immense amount of energy to bleed, to recover, and to start again. When or if the body has been under extreme acute stress or long-standing stress within her life, this can greatly impact the rhythm and the fertility of her body and her cycles, which then moves on to impact many other physiological processes within the body. It is the starting point of a cascade of experiences that can manifest all the way through into every single process that the body uses hormones and therefore minerals and enzymes to do, which is a lot. So we're understanding here that stress affects the physiological processes for women on many different levels. For women with the physical womb during their reproductive and bleeding years, it influences menstrual cycles and fertility, but also wellness. Our mental and emotional wellness is so deeply connected to the rhythms of our cycle within. For women without a womb or women who are in peri or post-menopausal years, stress can impact energy levels, emotional balance, and result in an overall lackluster experience for life. Long-standing stress that hasn't been understood or managed or nurtured throughout the earlier years in a woman's life, where she may be in her cycling years, can have a knock-on effect that carries through with her all the way into her perimenopausal experience. Here is another point in a woman's life in which often there is an understanding of how much stress she has been storing and holding in her body, because the manifestation of the journey of perimenopause becomes one of great challenge, upset, emotional, physical, and hormonal dysregulation. So it's vital, we can see, to look after our bodies and to tend to our inner worlds, quietening or taking care of the levels of stress in which we face within this modern day world that we live in, and learn tools and practices to better take care of ourselves, to resource and to release stress from the body so that we are paying it forward. It's almost like we are taking care of ourselves now, for now, but also the many different iterations of ourselves in the future, the parts and the expressions of ourselves that are yet to come. So the ways in which these disruptions can manifest: irregular or unrhythmic periods. So chronic stress can cause irregular menstrual cycles. Women experiencing this may have longer or shorter cycles, missed periods, or unpredictable spotting throughout different points and stages of their cycle. Painful periods. The stress-induced cortisol can make periods become more painful. Elevated cortisol levels can lead to increased inflammation, muscle tension, and enhance menstrual cramping. Changes in blood flow. Stress can alter the flow of menstruation. Some women might experience a much heavier bleeding because the body is trying to release and let go of everything it's holding on to, while others may have a much lighter period and bleed because the body somewhat doesn't feel safe to release and let go, because menstruating is also a huge stress on the system and the body. So we need to have enough energy to do that. Missing periods. So in severe cases, extreme stress can lead to the absence of menstruation. We can often see this in women that have been under long-standing stress and or been living in a body that is minerally and nervous system dysregulated and depleted. This was a personal experience of mine many years ago it actually has happened to me twice, in my early years, in my teens, and also in my early 20s. Both times I was experiencing very deep grief and huge amounts of stress in my life. And both times, whilst experiencing this, I lost my bleed and my cycle. The first time was for a few months, and the second time was for a much, much longer time, almost a year. And we can see here, it was quite clear to me that my body was under so much stress There was a cascade of hormones trying to regulate and find balance and harmony. But the stress that I was under was very long standing. And so my body decided it just did not have enough energy to bleed. What it also was deciding was that it did not have enough energy to create and sustain a life. Not that I was at that point in my life at any thought of trying to conceive. However, on a primal level, my body knew we have just about enough energy to survive, because that's what I was in, survival. We do not have enough energy to create a life, and we definitely don't have enough energy to sustain it and grow it and give it all its nutrients and its minerals that it needs to be fit, strong, and healthy, and then to birth. And we don't have enough energy to ovulate, and we don't have enough energy to bleed. So here enters the halting of these aspects of my cycle. Now, this manifests as a lot of different symptoms in my body and my system. Most of all, I would now put it under the bracket of thyroid issues or imbalances. There was a lot of weight gain, inflammation, hair thinning, cold hands and feet, inability to sweat, lethargic, tired, could sleep for days, needed naps constantly, and just lacked vitality and energy in my body and my system for my life. What I was experiencing at this time was a vicious cycle of stress. I was already under stress in my own life, in the events that were unfolding. I then became stressed about not having a cycle, which created more stress in the body to not be able to have a cycle, and so on. Learning and understanding the impact of stress on the menstrual cycle for me was the first steps towards managing it effectively. The first step for us all, wherever you may be on your journey with this, whether it is a missing cycle, not ovulating, long cycle, short cycle, heavy bleeding, light bleeding, irregular cycles, or the manifestation of womb-related health issues such as PCOS or endometriosis or growths or cysts. The first step for all women on this journey is to reduce stress. We must learn the tools and practices to support us to reduce stress in our daily lives and release stress from our body. Another clever thing that the body will do in times of stress is it will hold on. It will hold on because it doesn't feel it has enough energy to let go. So it holds on to food, it holds on to weight, it holds on to emotions, it holds on to the stress, and it lodges and locks it all inside. And this is where we get a sustained dysregulation within our nervous system, somatically, emotionally, and also minerally too. After we have started the journey of beginning to reduce stress from the body, we are then able to participate in some regular activity and exercise, whether that be going for a walk or doing some training. Both help to reduce stress and regulate hormones in our body. Remineralization, an essential step on the recovery path of reducing stress, ensuring that we have adequate amounts of the vital minerals and nutrients that we need that support our body as women, our cycles, and our feminine energy. This is where the HTMA hair test is really powerful for us to understand what the current imbalances are in the body, how our body is and isn't using the minerals that we are ingesting and taking in, and how better we are able to support our body to find that beautiful place of balance and homeostasis. The next step is to incorporate a balanced diet. Now, balance is key on our plate to support our hormonal rhythms, ensuring that we get the right nutrients, the right amount of nutrients, balancing our plate with fats, carbs, and protein. Particularly for many women, the conversation around protein is big, and making sure that we get enough. The next step, which I think is possibly a step that underpins all of this and kind of loops back to the first step of stress reduction, is to prioritize sleep and rest, making sure that we have enough sleep and good sleep so that the body is able to rest, restore, and recover, and then ultimately regulate our hormonal production. I would like to fit into this that doing what we need to do to support our sleep and making sure that it's good and we're well rested. So for me personally, that would look like being away from screens and phones and TVs and laptops at least 3 hours before bed for myself, resting in a space that is of a dim light in the evening to tell my body that it's nighttime and it's ready to go to sleep. Using different practices, maybe some meditation or body scanning or some gentle movement in the evening or a hot bath or some tapping to support my body to begin to wind down from the day that it's had. Sleep is so important for us to restore and renew on a cellular level. It's an opportunity for our body to process the day it's had, to regenerate, to be ready for the day it's going to have when we wake up in the following morning. If we don't get that, we wake up in a deficit. So the next day we wake up, we're still in a deficit from the day before, unable to have processed all of the stresses of that day, big, small, and anything in between. And we already there are in a debt. We are in a state of lack. And without adequate and healthy sleep and rest, and that restoration time in our evenings, we can see how that can roll over day upon day, week upon week, year upon year, and so on. It's an important note for me to just bring in here that our vital energy, our cellular energy, and the essential minerals needed for our body are lost through stressful life experiences, whether they be positive or negative in our perceived state of mind. But what I mean in this is that things like moving home, having children, gaining a promotion, growing a business or a family, traveling on a dream holiday, which all are positive experiences in life, or they are for my thought process, but they can have impact on our body and also carry their own stresses, particularly if you are a woman that's had children, mothering, parenting, thinking about having children. The need to boost the mineral and energy reservoirs in the body is so vital so that you have a big storage of that rather than pulling out of the archives and depleting the body further. And then also the less positive or more impactful on a negative level experiences that we might have, like facing loss, grief, worries, or emotional hurts and traumas. They all impact us on an energetic level and they all impact us on a mineral level. The body doesn't always know how to differentiate between what the experience is. It just knows that it's getting a hit or stress is upon it. This then shows us and it emphasizes the significance of remineralizing to support feminine energy, vital cycles, fertility, traversing the paths of cycling years into perimenopause and menopause, and navigating the many seasons and diverse cycles of life that we have within womanhood. So if this episode has landed with you deeply, I just welcome you to take a deep breath and to know that nobody is broken. Everything is okay and manageable. Your body, everybody's body, yearns and desires to find its way back into balance and harmony as best it can. Sometimes it needs a little bit of help along the way. And this is why I have created my 2 options for mentorships with me. We have the Embodied Woman group mentorship, which will be beginning at the end of February 2024. Doors will close on the 5th of March completely for any of those last minute signups that always want to creep in. This is a 6-month group mentorship program, which also offers one-to-one sessions within it. It's a hybrid space. And it's a beautiful way to journey through this experience alongside other women for support, for connection, for guidance. And you also have that one-to-one space too. And I also have the Awakening Woman individual mentorship. And this is for the woman that maybe is seeking to have that more personalized experience. And they are available in 3 and 6 month journeys. Both of these offerings and these mentorships dive deep into methods of support to replenish your body, to restore lost cellular energy, to replenish any minerals that have been depleted by stressful life experiences, to deepen into somatic awareness, to resource the body, mind, heart, and being, and to become more attuned to yourself, cultivating that relationship with your body and your needs, and therefore to live a more full and embodied life. Both of these mentorships guide a returning to a state of vitality and energy within. Both of the offerings will be linked in the show notes of this episode. If you have any questions, I am always here to support. You can reach out to me on Instagram, and I will also link in the show notes of this episode a connection call link should you feel a yes, but you're not sure which path or avenue to take, or should you have any questions that would align for us to share some time together to explore, then click the link and you can book a connection call with me and we can chat there. I am here to support and to guide you should that be your yes, my love. So take a deep breath, settle your body. I'm sending lots of love and wishing you a beautiful day.
Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you loved this musing and sharing, I would love for you to share this episode far and wide. You can arrive into all of my offerings at rebecca-wilson.com. Links to dive deeper with me are in the episode notes. Remember, my love, you are here to be the fullest, most potent, powerful, embodied version of you. I am here to guide you into that. Hey, love. I'm dropping in here to welcome you to join us in our online community membership, The Village. I created this space for women to gather, to return to themselves, to deepen the connection and the relationship with self, whilst held in a community of like-minded women walking the journey and the path of their own awakening.